Good time of day, guys. My name is Godzi, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry, Ch.7 Minagoroshi. Last episode, I tested my speed reading skills because I had to reread the first part of the episode, but I got through it in 20 minutes instead of 30, so that's pretty cool. We talked a bit about Sotsu because I had a new PV. And then, actually, in the game, Satoko came back to school and freaked out because she thought the principal was Teppei. And then they went back to the child consultation center, and nothing really happened. But they had a shit ton of people, so much so that they couldn't even go in the building with all of them, so that's fun. Anyways, looks like we're at the next festival committee meeting, so let's get into this. Good evening. You guys are early. Hello, Mion-chan and her friends. Good evening, Dr. Erie, eh? Good evening. You're here early. We don't have anything else to do. More people started coming into the meeting hall. Everyone seemed to come so early. I should probably come earlier from now on, too. Isn't this the last one, though? Hello, Kimiyoshi. I thought I saw a lot of fashion... Wait, wrong voice. I always give this dude the wrong voice. I don't know why my old man voice is so hard for me to get into. I thought I saw a lot of fashionable shoes at the entrance today. There are lots of young people here. Shion-chan, it's been so long. What brought you here today? Everyone bowed to the newest arrival. It was the mayor, Kimiyoshi-san. He strode into the room with the other committee members. Hello, it's been a while. I was hanging out with my sis and just happened to come along with them. Is that so? Well, you're welcome here. You're coming to the Watanagashi festival this year, right? Yes, I'm going this year for sure. I want to see Keiichi hosting the auction too. I guess it's time for young people like you to take over the festival. By the way, I wanted to talk to you, Mion-chan. Can you come this way? Fine, what is it? Is that guy from the refreshment booth team still angry? Ah, well... Mion headed outside with Kimiyoshi-san and the other committee members. There's only one room in the building, so they have to go outside if they want to talk in private. Today is Thursday, so we only have 3 more days until the festival. Are you ready for the auction? There's not much that I can do now. I'm ready to get up on the stage and do my thing, though. I think Keiichi performs best under pressure. Everyone laughed. We continued to chat about the festival. We talked about what kind of festival young people like us would want to see, that sort of stuff. Suddenly, Mion tapped me on the shoulder. Kei-chan, I need you for a second. She gestured for me to follow her out front without letting the others know. What did she want? Oh, hi, Chie. Once outside, I see Mion, Chie-sensei, and the principal. Oh, Chie-sensei. Mr. Principal. Good evening. Chie-sensei responded to my greeting, but the principal must not have heard me, since he didn't. His eyes were closed. He seemed lost in thought. That sight caused our happy, chatty feelings to cool off quickly. My intuition told me this had to be about something bad. I need to talk to you, Mayabara-kun. That doesn't sound good. Are you going to the Child Consultation Center again tomorrow? Yes. We'll keep fighting until they save Satoko. That's our mission. I don't know if we'll get as many supporters as we did today, but we are going back there again. Right, Mion? Mayabara-kun, I know you've already made plans for tomorrow, but after that, I think you should wait and see what they do. Thanks to the advice from Moishi-san last night, I already had an idea of the situation. Is this a warning, Chie-sensei? If our protest grows any bigger, the village officials will have to take notice of it. That's why you're telling me to quit now, isn't it? Mayabara-kun, I think what you're doing is a good thing. You're not wrong to pursue the things you believe in. However... She stopped talking after that. Chie-sensei was supporting us until just yesterday. She even came to the Child Consultation Center with us on the second day. So for her to start saying completely the opposite, I felt slightly dizzy from the shock of it. Kei-chan, let me explain in her stead. Chie-sensei is still supporting us as an individual. However, well, she being pressured by the Board of Education or something? Chie-sensei will never bow to pressure. You have no idea how courageous she is. She ignored the Board of Education and came to this village when the Hinamizawa branch school was still not approved by the government. I think Mion told me about that story before. The school was closed when the dam conflict happened. However, the village children still came to the school to learn. There were no teachers there, though, because the school wasn't officially operating. That was when Chie-sensei arrived. After they won the dam conflict, the Sonozaki family and other villagers made an appeal, and the school's existence was finally approved. Our school did not have an easy start. The government was against it, but the villagers forced them to approve. Chie-sensei came along with us on our appeal yesterday. That was very courageous of her, but now people who want to close the school are paying attention to what we're doing. What's the point of shit like that? Like, no, seriously, what's the point? Like, I don't want there to be a school in this remote town. Because, I just don't want it. That's what a lot of things about politics confuse me. Like, I see this mostly on the right, but it also happens on the left very, very occasionally. It's just like, I'll see Republicans be like, oh, I want, I don't know, X school to be fucking defunded because leftist indoctrination, yada yada. Like, shit like that. Like, so why you care? Why do you care? And like, people who want to ban critical race theory and shit like that, when really all it does is just tell the cold hard truth about history in our country. Why do you want to hide that so badly, huh? Kinda sus. You know, it's just fucking weird. People care about things for no fucking reason. I don't want women to get abortions. Okay, why? Do you care that much about something that doesn't impact you? I'll stop rambling and just get back into this, but that's my general point with that. That's basically it. Chie-sensei can't support us openly anymore. Chie-sensei stared at the ground as Mion spoke. I'd never seen her look so sad. If it was just about me, I wouldn't care what happened. I don't want to be a teacher who can't even fight for her own students. But I can't put the whole school in jeopardy. I don't know who told her this. Whoever it was, they warned her not to escalate things around Satoko's case. Why do they care? They threatened the existence of our school to make her obey, and pressured her with responsibility she couldn't take on her own. You know, yesterday, Oishi-san told me something similar. In this exact same spot, too. He warned me that if I kept escalating this, then I'd be fighting against the elders who still don't like the Hojo family, or something like that. He told you that? Well, he's not really wrong. Mion looked at the ground along with Chie-sensei. I always thought Chie-sensei and Mion were stronger people. So seeing them both hanging their heads like, this is hopeless, made me feel like we were being pushed into a dead end, and I hated it. You were just at the Child Consultation Center with us. You told everyone to come again tomorrow. That's the Mion I came to this meeting with. So when did she get swapped with this weak Mion? When I said, when did she get swapped, I immediately thought of one thing. The mayor took her outside the building earlier. Did he... Wait, what? Like, swap her and Shion? Like, but Shion would be way more adamant than this. I see. He called you out here to talk about this, didn't he? Well, kind of. It felt painful to see her fake a smile like that. She was only out here with him for about 10 minutes. What the hell did he tell her that crushed her spirit? Mion, Chie-sensei, the two of you are the strongest people I know. I respect you very much. I can't even imagine what kind of pressure would cause you to change your opinions overnight. I didn't feel like getting mad at them. They were just as passionate about saving Satoko as I was. Towards them, I felt nothing but pity. Mahabara-kun, I don't know what to say. You don't need to apologize. I could feel an angry tone entering my voice. I'd had enough. Tell me something. Why do the old people in the village still hate the Hojo family that much? The dam conflict is over. Satoko is totally innocent, isn't she? Why do they still hate her so much? Who hates her? Whose fault is this? I'm going to have a chat with whoever that is. And there's the fucking... There it is again. People thinking things and wanting things to happen for no fucking reason. Why do they hate the Hojo family? Exactly. They don't fucking know. Because, oh, her parents were bad? Okay, conflate her with her parents. Awesome, cool, great. Her parents are dead, bucko. That's very cool of you. You're very cool and rational. Am I making fun of fictional characters who don't even have sprites or names? Yes. Well, or yeah, but yes still. I don't think anyone actually hates the Hojo family. What? What are you saying? It's true that the Hojo family was the enemy during the dam conflict. The whole village believed that. But after Satoko's parents died, people started realizing that she was innocent. But no one ever came forward to forgive her. Oh, Shion. I can explain why. Shion? It wasn't just Shion who appeared. Rena and Rika-chan were there with her. They'd come out to check on me and overheard what we were talking about. Is it just a classic case of just being like... Yeah, literally. They're just afraid like, okay, I forgive her, but I don't know if anyone else does. If I forgive her, other people might start thinking of me as bad, and I don't want that. After uniting to turn the Hojo family into their scapegoat, the village is still living in fear. But not because they're scared of them. They're living in the fear that if they end up connected to the Hojo family, they'll be made a scapegoat by the village too. Yep, or doodle. I mean, I've seen the anime for this already, but I forgot most of this from what happened. And also there's another reason why I guess I probably remember some of this. But, you know, I want to be spoiler-free for people who are, you know, going into this blind. In other words, if you help a member of the Hojo family, you might get attacked by the village, just like they did. They still feel that way, years after the conflict.
Is that true? Everyone was always nice to Satoko-chan at school. Only the old people are involved in this. However, they're the core of the village.
They all believe that the leader of the Sonozaki family, my granny, still hates the Hojo family. But that's not true. Granny is also afraid. She thinks that if she forgives the Hojo family, the other elderly people will lose trust in her. This is really complicated. Is my chair fucking up again? I really need to get a different chair, Christ. So what do you mean? Who am I supposed to punch in the face? The truth is, no one really hates the Hojo family. They all think we should forgive them. But they can't come forward with that opinion. They're convinced that everyone else still hates the Hojo family.
So, everyone is misunderstanding each other? That's right. You can ask all of them individually. You'll see that no one really hates Satoko. Her parents' death marked the closure of that hatred. After her parents died, my grandma told everyone not to bother the Hojo family anymore. However, she didn't tell people to forgive them. That's probably because of my father. Rika-chan's father? Why is that? My father was so laid back that people started saying he didn't deserve to be a leader in the village anymore.
Rika-chan's dad was a very relaxed guy. I think that helped him calmly resolve things. But at the time, people who were burning with anger about the dam project were looking for a more aggressive leader. So my granny came forward and acted as one, in order to unite the whole village. And because of her role as an aggressive leader, she can't publicly announce that she's going to forgive the Hojo family? Yeah. Old people put a lot of stock into not changing their minds. True! She can't reverse her policy so easily.
But that's terrible! People are refusing to forgive Satoko-chan, and then blaming it on everyone else. They can't forgive her because they're afraid of what other people might think? That's awful!
During the dam project, a few households actually thought that it would be fine to vacate their homes, since they were getting compensation money from the government. But they couldn't say that out loud. The Hojo family, however, came forward with their opinion and announced that they were willing to vacate. Those households gained courage after seeing the Hojo family, and they almost established a group of people who agreed to leave. I'm sure you understand this after today, but in order to effectively protest something, everyone has to have the same opinion. It's important that the whole village is on the same page. Before the dam conflict, Hinamizawa was tearing itself apart instead of waging war.
They said that it was because my father was such a lazy leader. He never thought that they'd actually build a dam. He believed that we could reach a peaceful resolution just by negotiating.
So he was a hyper-centrist. Awesome.
People thought that was why some families started agreeing to leave. Supporters of the plan to evacuate? That sounds strange. This is the first I've heard of that. People in the village always said that they supported the dam project.
She's right. They usually claim that their enemies supported the project itself. It sounds worse if you call them dam project supporters than if you call them evacuation supporters, doesn't it? If you call them evacuation supporters, it makes it sound like they're peaceful people who don't want to fight. But calling them dam project supporters makes it sound... I see. Sounds more like a group of bad people trying to submerge the village underwater. It's all about appearances. Coach had appeared. Speaking of appearances, hello! He came outside after noticing how long we'd been gone. The village of Hinamizawa was brimming with a sense of unity. Mr. Furude was not able to unite the village. The Sonozaki family figured that they could seize power if they were to take charge of that unity.
I'm starting to understand now. Let's phrase it a different way. In order to unite the village, they attacked the Hojo family, who betrayed their sense of community. They used them to intimidate other people. People became afraid of the Hojo family, so they changed their minds and started protesting against the dam project. They held that if you interacted with the Hojo family, you were probably a supporter of the dam project yourself. Awesome! McCarthyism! On a very small scale. That's why everyone kept their distance from them. They acted like they didn't even see them. When someone from the family talked to them, they ignored it. Initially, they were targeting only Satoko-chan's parents, but eventually the whole family was seen as a target. As a result, her uncle and aunt were caught in the line of fire too. It's kind of ironic. That was the reason they started abusing Satoko-chan to begin with. Epic! Okay, great. I definitely... Christ. Forgot that fact. Jesus. So it's the village's fault that she's being abused. Epic and cool and great. Well, no, it's directly Tape and his dead wife, but still. Her uncle and aunt were not in support of the dam project, but because of Satoko's parents, they were also attacked. After Satoko's parents died, they were forced to take care of their 2 children. It finally makes sense. I can see the whole picture now. So it's like a Hunter Biden case too. He's not fucking working for his father, but people still like criticize him as if that somehow affects his dad. I don't fucking know. Like, I'm making a lot of political references this episode, I realize, so I'll try to tone them down, but you get what I mean, right? You get what I mean. I mean, this part of the fucking game is very political anyways, so the fuck. So, yeah. The dam conflict is over and Satoko-chan's parents are dead. I think the Sonozaki family should speak out and publicly forgive the Hojo family. But once again, there's an issue. Granny is afraid that the elderly people here will lose their trust in her if she publicly forgives the Hojo family. Seems like the Sonozaki family's as worried about people taking them lightly as the consultation center is. I heard this directly from her, so I'm sure that's what's happening. All she could do was tell everyone not to bother the Hojo family anymore. When she dies, she wants the next family head to officially declare the end of the dam conflict and stop discriminating against the Hojo family. My mom knows about this too. I heard about it from her, actually. It's just that old hag's stubborn pride. Let me ask you this.
Sounds to me like the mayor and his people threatened Mion and told Chie-sensei they'd close the school. How about them? Do they still have bitter feeling toward the Hojo family?
It's ridiculous. Even Uncle Kimiyoshi thinks no one in the village hates the Hojo family.
It's just sad that the dam conflict hasn't completely ended for these people. They're so afraid of being badmouthed behind their backs if they interact with the Hojo family.
But people like you and Rika-chan interact with her.
I'm young, and I don't have many ties to the town council either. Plus, Rika-chan is special. She's the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. Oyashiro-sama was the one who brought humans and demons together. Which means she was able to live with Satoko, even though Satoko's not accepted by the villagers. After hearing all this, I'm beginning to understand how difficult it was for Satoko to live in this village. She always acted bright and cheerful in school and in the club. I thought that was her whole world. But I had no idea how she felt when she was walking around alone in the village. She probably went grocery shopping even knowing that people were going to ignore her. She felt the coldness from them, but she was standing strong on her feet. I had no idea she was going through something like that. I knew she went through tough times during the dam conflict, but I had no clue that she was struggling to this day.
What a sad story. And the whole thing is just nonsense, too.
Do you feel that way too, Rena? I feel exactly the same.
No one feels bitter towards Satoko-chan, but everyone is afraid that something bad will happen to them if they interact with her. Whose fault is this? No one's? Is the land or society making them think that way?
It's no one's fault. Yet they're so worried about everyone else's opinions, they can't forgive her, huh? Yes. That kind of atmosphere is great when the wind's blowing in a good direction. People would act kindly and help each other. But the case of the Hojo family is totally the opposite. It's spreading like a mold and no one can do anything about it. What do you do with a rotten tatami mat? You have no choice but to toss it out and get a new one. So the mayor is pressuring us not because he hates Satoko, but because he thinks that if he lets us run free, someone who doesn't even exist might talk badly about him. So that's why he can't leave us be?
I call that someone the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Everyone is afraid of that someone, even though he doesn't exist. But that someone doesn't exist, and they're not a real person.
Shion's theory sounded interesting. Everyone follows the rules because they're afraid of that someone. However, even the leaders of the village are afraid of the same thing. Everyone in the village is following the rules because they're afraid of someone who doesn't even exist. So it's specifically because if we interact with the Hojo family, then the curse of Oyashiro-sama might get me because I'm affiliated with the Hojo family. Even though that's never happened. Like, I mean, Rika's parents, but were they super affiliated with the Hojos? I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so. They still follow the rules of the dam conflict, thinking that they'll be cursed if they forgive Satoko. Who the hell is that someone? They could only call it the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Oyashiro-sama cursed the Hojo family because they supported the dam project. They still believe that, and Satoko is struggling because of it.
Oyashiro-sama will not curse Satoko. She thinks Satoko is adorable. Please don't use her name for something horrible like that.
Rika-chan made a sad face. She's the shrine maiden for Oyashiro-sama, and the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. I don't think there's a curse in this village at all. Everyone is just convinced that there is. If that's the case, this isn't the Child Consultation Center's fault at all. The whole village bears responsibility.
Yes, I think so too.
Oh god, Mortal Kombat!
I thought appealing to the Child Consultation Center would solve the problem, but that's not going to do anything.
A rotten tatami mat, huh? We can't just clean the surface. Even if the consultation center does save Satoko, that's nothing but a temporary fix. I guess we need to throw away the rotten tatami mat so we can save her for good. Time to beat up some old people!
think those tatami mats are all assembled nearby.
I agree. Most of them are within a 20-meter radius of here. Hey, Kei-chan, Rana! What are you guys going to do? Mion, you're deeply involved in the village. I know you feel hesitant to save Satoko as one of the leaders here. I understand why you and Chie-sensei almost gave up under the pressure. But I have nothing to lose. Do you still have that gun? Hand it over! Mayabara-san, are you really going to... right here? I'm going to do it. I'm going to get rid of that rotten tatami mat. Will you join me, Rena?
Yes. I'm tougher than you think.
I know. But you should settle down just a little bit. I feel like you could blow up a school if you got too serious. And there's the callback.
I think you could beat up someone with a metal bat if you got too serious.
That's quite on a different scale, Rena. We're both pretty tough, huh? Well, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
I understand your position, Mion. You don't have to come with me. Just leave if you think things are going to get out of control. This is more dangerous than any club activity. I'm damn serious about this. As the next head of her family, she shouldn't agree with me, but she stared in silent approval of what I was going to do. Okay. If you're going to take that risk, then I'm coming with you too. That's the way. Just watch how I'll take care of this.
What about you, Shi-chan? Fortunately, I have nothing to lose. I'll support you guys.
Chie-sensei, Mr. Principal, I understand your stance. We're not in school right now. Please forgive what we're about to do now.
You're right. I'm not your teacher right now. The principal and I will entrust our will to you.
I'm supporting you guys too. If they want me out of the village, I'm willing to close down my clinic. It's only natural for a master to sacrifice everything to save his future maid. Oh, I can feel everyone's power flowing into me. I'm not even going to try and cool down. I need to be fired up for something like this. As I turned back, I noticed Oishi-san and my dad. I didn't know how long they'd been standing there. You seem excited about something, Mayabara-san. Oishi-san, you told me last night that there are some things that a man can't give up on. We have to take a chance, even when it's risky. Keiichi, don't stop me, Dad. I know it's important to be polite, but I need to do this for my friend. I'm not going to stop you. Huh? He gave me a big smile. I've never seen my dad smile like that before. I believe in what you just told Oishi-san. There are some things that a man should not give up on. You'll encounter something like that in your life sooner or later. If this is that time, then I'm not going to stop you.
Keiichi-kun's father is so cool.
Of course, he's my dad. He's at least half as cool as me. I'm not from Hinamizawa. I can't take either side, but I'll be watching you closely, Mayabara-san. When it's make or break the game, take the risk and discard for the middleweight, is something my old friend used to say. I have no idea what that means, some mahjong thing. You can't compromise once you make a decision. If you're going to forfeit, do so immediately. But if you're going to fight, be confident in yourself. Mahjong uses double scoring, after all. Even if you get a small amount of points several times in succession, you'll lose if someone scores a lot of points all at once. You just have to be confident when you're ready to fight. Do you play Mahjong too, Mayabara-san? They start talking about Mahjong together. This is going to be interesting. Someone from the committee came out and told us to come inside for the meeting. It was time for it to start. Alright, let's go inside. Feel like we're finally getting up on the stage.
No wonder we felt something was missing at the Child Consultation Center.
Yeah, this was supposed to be the stage all along. We were fighting with the wrong people for the past 3 days. Let's go. Someone pulled my shirt. It was Rika-chan.
Keiichi.
You're not only Satoko's best friend, but you're also a member of the village's 3 families. You can just watch what Rena and I are going to do. But if you're willing to help us save Satoko, I want you to support us.
You're going to try and change those hard-headed men?
I'm going to change them. I told you before, fate is thinner than a piece of paper. I'll tear it down with ease. Oh boy. Do. Alright. I just had to look at something real quick.
What is going to happen?
They're calling the traditions of the village the Curse of Oyashiro-sama.
Shion sure has an interesting theory. Is Keiichi going to smash it in 2? Can he destroy the Curse of Oyashiro-sama?
He will break it. Keiichi has the power to break everything. It's not just Keiichi's power, though. Because everyone is working together, Keiichi is able to break anything. Keiichi fell out of the world. This energy is more powerful than the lucky 6 on the die.
It's not luck. He's destroying fate with his own 2 hands.
Everyone followed Keiichi and entered the assembly hall. I followed in after them. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this with Keiichi. If this doesn't work out, that's it for me. I'm going to give it my very best. Oh boy. It is Cool Man time. Keiichi's Mr. Cool Man. Look at him go. He's gonna yell at old people for probably an hour. A civil servant's preparations. I have this, achievement unlocked, underside, and that is an icon of what only looks like a mushroom cloud, very zoomed in. I have a feeling I know what this is going to be about. But I could be wrong. Chief. I see. We're good as long as we know that the town council and the Onigafuchi guardians aren't involved. Please, take care of Satoko Hojo-san's case without worrying about it too much. I will. I'm glad to know that the whole village isn't backing them. Why do you care, though? Man, I'm so glad the whole village isn't backing them. Now we can ignore this child for reasons. I wouldn't agree with them if they were, though. No matter who is pulling the strings, we must treat every case equally. This whole odd rule that we have to give Hinamizawa special treatment is only due to the precedent set when we let threats influence us before. Well, you're absolutely right, sir, but please continue to work on this case. The manager from the municipal government assured us that the town council has nothing to do with this petition. It's a problem that our organization is so afraid of one tiny community. As a manager, you should think about that a little. Yes, I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm glad to hear that the village isn't supporting them, again, for some reason. You must act the same way even if the village does support them, no matter who is behind the scenes. Please be very careful with Satoko Hojo's case. Don't try to give her any special treatment, you understand? Okay, yeah, that was not about what I thought it would be. Well, did it say, it said civil servant, right? Excuse me. Oh god. Apparently we're setting sail. Excuse me. I have something to say before the meeting starts. They all knew immediately that I was going to say something about Satoko. I guess they weren't just old for show. Oh, Keiichi-kun. Today is our final meeting before the festival, so can you bring up your personal issue later? I ignored him and continued talking, based. If you have something to say, just tell me directly. Don't go through Mion or Chie-sensei. I don't like it when people are so indirect. Let's talk face to face. Everyone went quiet. Nobody there wanted to be involved in a conversation about the Hojo family. Everyone here knows that Satoko Hojo is practically being confined by her uncle and suffering at his hands. Well, I don't care that you're not proactive about helping her. I'm sure that some of you don't want any trouble, but we're different. Satoko is our friend. We're fighting as hard as we can to save our friend from danger. However, this is like when you just say something wrong, you say something political at Thanksgiving and just completely kill the fucking mood. Even if it's an important thing, like, this is something about climate change or police brutality, you know? Keiichi-kun, we're aware of all of that. All we're saying is that you've done enough to the consultation center by now. Is there a problem if we continue our appeal? Of course there is! It's a big problem, too! Someone with a stern voice spoke out to me. I'm glad I called it on the tone. I had gotten under their skin. This is just Thanksgiving. Then what's the problem? Can you explain it so a child like me can understand? The damn conflict ended ages ago! The age of banding together and storming public offices is over! But why? It's fun! The subject wasn't even Satoko anymore. All they had to offer was a bunch of excuses. I'm not asking about your past, and the damn conflict has nothing to do with this. This is my war. So if you're going to partake in my war, then let's make it clear if you're my enemy or my ally. Which is it? Are you my allies or my enemies? Mutter, 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 mutter. Listen to the things that come out of this boy's mouth. Young people these days don't know how to be polite. Why do they care? The whole room lit up and started filling with the smell of gunpowder. However, none of my allies let themselves get swept up in the commotion and maintained their harsh stares. Those expressions made me feel as though I had a million supporters behind me. I was standing in front only as their representative. It wasn't my fight alone. This was everyone's fight. Because of that realization, the fierce looks the old people were giving me didn't intimidate me at all. That's all old people can do. Like, they just make faces and look at you weird when you say something that they disagree with or don't like. Keiichi-kun, this is not about us being your enemy or not. Our village fought with these officials during the dam conflict. However, I do understand that this has nothing to do with that. The dam conflict is a thing of the past. I don't care what you thought about that. I'm talking about me, my friends, and Satoko. I never asked you about the dam conflict. Ever thought of getting your ears checked, old man? Why, you... How can you talk to your elders like that? You disrespectful little brat! I'd like to have a word with your parents! My dad, standing behind me, gave an apologetic and bitter smile. Excuse me, but my son is based as fuck and you will not say otherwise. Pardon me, I'm his father, you see. You're his father? How could you raise him like this? To be fair, he used to be worse. He shot little kids in the eyes with a BB gun. I guess I'm not a very good parent. I'm not sure if I raised Keiichi the way I was supposed to. My dad paused. In the next moment, however, his expression changed to a glare. However, a single man known as Keiichi Maebara is standing here before all these faces to voice his appeal that something about this doesn't make any sense. I don't care if he's my son or not. He's only making his assertion as a man. So I don't think there's really any reason to be talking to me here. Silence filled the room as the old people sat there with their mouths agape. Oishi-san broke that silence with laughter. You've got plenty of pride, don't you?
My name is Rena Ryugu. Can I ask something? I don't understand the logic of how the dam conflict being over becomes a reason why we shouldn't make our appeal to the Child Consultation Center. Would you explain that to us in detail?
Rena's voice remained perfectly level, as though the matter didn't concern her. However, I could see the fury in her eyes. I was probably the only one who noticed that fury. The old people seemed like they'd rather deal with her than me. Reina-chan! This village has no reason to fight with the government now that the dam conflict is over. During that time, we did fight them, true. But after the conflict was over, that's water under the bridge. So our village re-established relations with the government. Hinamizawa is not an individual country. We're just a small village in Japan. The government is taking care of us. That's why we need to try and get along with them.
You're right. It is important for a village to have a good relationship with the government.
Listen to Reina-chan, she understands us at least. Mayabara's boy ought to learn from her. I heard little bits and pieces from the noise of the crowd. Yeah, that's definitely true. Hinamizawa has been trying to fix its relationship with the government ever since the dam conflict ended. Exactly, just like Mion-chan said. The old men cheered. However, Shion was the next to open her mouth.
That's why the town council and the government officials are best friends now. In fact, 2 officials always come along on the town council's annual hot spring trip. They get paid to participate, too. The trip itself is mostly paid for with tax money, isn't it? Oh, and I know so many other things. Like the donations for the New Year and end of year parties, as well as the vast financial aid the town council receives for festivities. The upcoming Watanagashi is one of them. The government is putting millions of yen into subsidies and aid. They're the ones who pretty much pay for the whole festival. Ever since the conflict ended, the festival has been getting bigger and bigger. That's because we're receiving money from government officials. So, if we get in trouble with them, we might not be able to hold a festival next year. That's why Hinamizawa keeps kissing their asses. Isn't that right, Uncle?
Shion-chan? How do you know all of that?
I switch places with my sis sometimes.
The hell? That's a ridiculous story! I still don't understand why you're against what we're trying to do. Rena, will you sum this up for me? What are they saying?
Well, basically they're colluding with the government officials so they can't risk upsetting them.
The whole room went into a panic after Rena summed it up so simply. Some of them were ashamed that we hit the nail on the head. Some of them were enraged by our ignorance, that should be in quotes. And some of them were simply angry about our disrespectful attitudes, which should also be in quotes. All of them combined to throw the room into a chaos of clattering and stomping. Be quiet! Be quiet! They all settled down after Kimiyoshi raised his voice. By the time they quieted, the mayor had a terrible look on his face. Keiichi-kun, the relationship between the town council and the government officials has nothing to do with this. You're just sidestepping the issue yourself. There's no point in mixing the two up together. Listen, we won our battle against the dam project, but we're all labeled as a nest of troublemakers. And yes, we were taking advantage of that image during the conflict. However, now that the conflict is over, that image is working against us badly. We need to try and repair it. Otherwise, this village will have no future. Do you understand? It's not just about being your enemy. It's much deeper than that. In other words, you're saying that if Kei-chan rouses everyone to action, then the friendly atmosphere we've developed will be ruined. The old people nodded as Mion spoke. They were assuming that Mion was on their side.
Mii-chan, what do you mean by the friendly atmosphere? Does that mean we shouldn't seek help for a poor innocent girl who's being abused? They're trying to say that the Child Consultation Center is doing their job already, so they want us to stop interfering. Given their position, the officials can't say leave us alone that strongly. So they're asking our village to deal with the matter for them, since they're granting us a lot of subsidies. Oh, so what you're saying is the town council is the government's lapdog. Hey you! Watch what you're saying! Be a little more respectful, why don't ya? Why don't you watch what you're saying? I hope you're not refusing to help her just because Satoko is the daughter of the Hojo family. That's not it. We're not saying anything about Satoko-chan. We're just telling you to take a look at the bigger picture and show some more restraint in your appeals. The Child Consultation Center isn't ignoring you. I'm sure they've taken your huge protest into account. They already understand your point. We're just saying that you're carrying this way too far. Keiichi-kun, I just saw something really interesting. See? Look at what's in that picture frame over there. Rena pointed at the wall, and everyone followed the direction of her finger. There were very many different picture frames all over the walls of the assembly hall. They mostly had to do with the dam conflict, and were usually about glorifying the Onikafuchi Guardians. Rena was pointing at a framed article.
Kimiyoshi-san wrote it, way back when he was the leader of the Guardians during the dam conflict.
Look at the middle portion there. We attempted peaceful negotiation, but the government and their marionette, the president of the electric company, declined. They have trampled on our village's democratic movement and our native land with indescribable atrocities. Meep. That's what Kimiyoshi wrote for the dam conflict memorial. He wrote the same thing on the monument, too.
Everyone knew why Rena had brought that up. I could hear them all gulping. They attempted to negotiate peacefully with the government and its marionette, the electric company. What's this? Are you sure they don't mean the Hinamizawa Town Council instead of the electric company? Still, marionette is a difficult term. Do you think the people understand what that means? Could someone explain it to me?
A marionette is like a puppet. It means that while they're supposed to be an independent organization, they're actually being controlled as though they're dancing on strings. Oh, that sounds like the perfect word to describe Hinamizawa right now.
Yeah, that is perfect.
What are you saying? We're not their marionette! We're just trying to cooperate with them! Calling us a puppet is just splitting hairs!
But that's what you just stated. You clearly told us that you want us to stop, not because of Satoko, but for the sake of the village. You said there's an issue because the village needs to maintain a friendly relationship with the government. Don't tell me that you didn't say exactly that. You did say it, didn't you?
I heard him. He said it had nothing to do with Satoko-chan.
Mion, I thought there was a saying in this village. Something about how the whole village comes together for one villager. If there's one person coming, 2 should throw rocks at him. If there are 2, 4 would do so. If there are 8, 16 would fight back. If there's 1,000, the whole village should stand up and fight. If one person is abused, the whole village is abused. We all work together for that one villager. That's the unity of the Guardians. The unity of the Guardians is stronger than rock. That's what their leader said back in the day. Mayor Kimiyoshi used to be the head of the Onigafuchi Guardians. He crossed his arms and started to groan. There were many things he wanted to say, but he knew that none of them would make him look good. And so he continued to stay silent. When I moved here, Mion and Shion told me the valiant story of the dam conflict. But that unity didn't just start a few years ago when the dam conflict happened. I believe those traditions have been here for over 40 years, ever since Japan lost the war. That's why I really respect those who fostered the unity here since that era, and I find them incredible. And more than anything, I'm impressed by the courage the Onigafuchi Guardians displayed here in this picture frame. The government tried to pull many dirty tricks to submerge this village under the water, but the Guardians thwarted every one of them. Because of the efforts of those men, Hinamizawa is still here today. If they hadn't done anything, we'd be at the bottom of a lake right now. So I'm grateful that this village still exists, with its proud unity and beautiful scenery. I'm proud to call myself a resident of Hinamizawa.
That's damn right!
Someone shouted. It wasn't one of my friends. It was one of the elderly villagers. That's why we fight. We fight because we all live together in this village. If there's one person coming, 2 should throw rocks at him. If there are 2, 4 would do so. If there are 8, 16 would fight back. If there's 1,000, the whole village should stand up and fight. If one person is abused, the whole village is abused. Get together for one villager. That's the unity of the Guardians. Satoko Hojo is one of us. You all know how horrible her uncle is. You all know that we can't leave her alone with him for a whole month. We need to save her from her uncle right this minute. We need the power of the Guardians one more time. We need the spirits of the Guardians to reunite again. Rena and Mion applauded, and the applause quickly spread to everyone. I saw smiles creeping across the faces of the old people. However, they quickly wiped away those smiles and started discussing with their neighbors.
Keiichi-kun is right. It's not like Hinamizawa has to obey the government all of the time. But the dam conflict is over now. The government officials are taking care of us too. I wasn't aware of that. Are they really supporting us that much? Well, on a personal level, I agree with what Mayabara's boy is saying. I can't approve of how the town council is operating. Keiichi-kun is right. The village can't put pressure on him just because the government is telling us to do so. Mr. Mayor, we may not be able to support Keiichi-kun, but I also don't think we have the right to tell him to stop. I don't like this Mayabara boy's attitude. He's way too disrespectful. You think you can get away with talking to us like that?
3 scary old guys came up to yell at me. I raised my own voice and yelled right back in their faces.
It's not about my attitude. It's about the soul of this village. Get out of here if you don't have the courage to stand up for one innocent villager. How dare you speak to me that way?
Thwack. The big old guy smacked me upside the head.
What do you think you're doing?
Thwack. I hit him right back and the room went into a panic again. Rena approached us. I thought she'd come to stop me, but she suddenly hit the old guy in the head too.
What? What are you doing? Don't think you can get away with this just because you're a girl!
He thwacked Rena upside the head. However, Rena talked back to him with a firm look in her eyes. Is dodging illegal in Japan? Like, jump back if an old person's like really putting his arm into hitting your head? Like, Christ almighty.
If one comes at you, 2 should fight back. Isn't that the spirit of Hinamizawa?
Since you hit Rena-san, 4 of us need to retaliate. Let me in on this.
Keiichi, your father's going to fight too. Everything you've said is right. If they're going to try and stop you with violence, I won't turn a blind eye to that.
Yeah, like, are these guys really so full of themselves that they're going to hit a kid in front of his father? For expressing his beliefs? Like, that's asking to get the fucking shit beat out of you.
There are 3 people blocking Keiichi's way. We need 6 people to fight them.
Rika-chama!
I'm impressed to see that courage of yours, Rika-chama. Let me in too. I too will be taking his side.
Chie-sensei stood up. I thought she had given up out under all the pressure.
I was almost going to neglect my student. I prioritized myself, even though I thought I'd do anything for them. I'm ashamed to call myself a teacher.
Wearing a fierce expression, she stared at the mayor. That was her answer to the pressure he tried to put on her. Chie-sensei.
I think that I overstepped my bounds as an educator. However, what Mayabara-kun is doing is the right thing. As an educator, I have to acknowledge the fact that he's doing something right. I can no longer tell him to stop.
If I have your support, Chie-sensei, then I have nothing to fear. Let me ask you people one more time. Is it more important to stay cozy with the officials than it is to save the life of one poor, innocent villager? You don't even need to ask them, Kei-chan. This is no ordinary assembly hall. This used to be the headquarters of the Onigafuchi Guardians. The people here were all members of the Guardians once. Nobody without their spirit would ever come to a place like this.
Mion-chan.
Mr. Mayor, Kei-chan's actions are embodying the spirit of Hinamizawa. The way he's trying to fight without fear is exactly what the Onigafuchi Guardians were doing. I think it's shameful for this town council to tell him to stop. If you're still going to ask him to back off, I'm going to smash all these pictures on the wall and set fire to the flag of the Guardians. While the mayor did nothing but moan, somebody else raised his voice.
I'm going to support Mayabara-kun. He may be disrespectful, but he has the right spirit. I agree. It's pathetic the way we're colluding with these government officials. Keiichi-kun, don't worry about what anyone else thinks. Keep on fighting! Don't give in to the pressure!
The assembly hall instantly filled with a great round of applause. Mayabara-kun, tell us what's going on so far. Very well. On the day Satoko was kidnapped by her uncle, Chie-sensei visited her house. However, he refused to let Chie see her, and it was obvious that something unusual was going on. Chie-sensei called the Child Consultation Center right after that. That night, a social worker visited her house. However, they determined that there was no abuse going on and they put her case on hold. This might be a normal way to handle the situation, but they don't know how dangerous that uncle is. For that reason, the 5 of us went to the child consultation center to let them know how urgent it was that she be rescued.
They said they'd take that into consideration, but they still didn't take action after that. We thought 5 of us was not enough, so the next day we went along with more than 20 of our classmates.
You took the whole class?
Keiichi gave a very moving speech. He told them that they had to save their friend and not abandon her. If he was here during the dam conflict, I'm sure his charisma could have resolved it a year earlier.
We all know too well how spirited this lad is.
The consultation center was still not willing to listen to us on the second day. We made almost no progress. All they told us was that they were working on it.
No, Keiichi-kun, you did make progress. They were so intimidated, they asked someone from the local government to check on our town council. The fact that they tried to pressure us to stop meant that what you did was working. You made progress.
I see. I guess you could look at it like that. If they weren't scared of us, they wouldn't have acted that way. On the third day, we called all our friends and gathered 60 people. This time we got to meet the head of the office. He listened to us, but he didn't say what their decision would be.
Keiichi-kun, to tell you the truth, at that point, the council had already spoken to the officials and had made our decision to stop you. After the Child Consultation Center confirmed that the whole village wasn't involved in the protest, they decided to just ignore your appeal.
That's what I thought. I could feel that from the way the head of the office treated us. It was obvious that they were just trying to get it over with.
We're planning to go there tomorrow, too. But I wonder if they'll even pretend to listen. They might not even let us in because they think the village is pressuring us to stop.
Yeah, they think that the village is on their side. The village needs to publicly announce that they're supporting Keiichi. I agree. Otherwise, they definitely won't listen to us again.
We should do that! We should tell them that Hinamizawa is not going to stop Mayabara-kun from what he's doing!
Personally, I don't want to complain about Keiichi-kun's actions. However, it's complicated when I think about it from the town council's point of view. Even if we tell them that we're not on either side, they'll think that we're on his side. That's tantamount to picking a fight with them. But I still have to respect the opinion of the council, too. I can't just decide this on my own. I need to get approval from all the council members.
Most of them are here right now.
So you say, but... Let's just be honest here. You're afraid that there are some among you who are against saving the daughter of the Hojo family, aren't you? The whole room sunk into silence. That was the heart of the matter. Everyone thinks that the dam conflict is over. You all told us that a few minutes ago. You also think that there's no need to discriminate against the Hojo family, now that everything is said and done. However, you're still afraid of her family. You're afraid that you'll be badmouthed if you interact with the Hojo family.
Satoko-chan's parents were indeed the leaders of the evacuation supporters. But what crime did Satoko-chan herself commit?
Personally, I don't have anything against her. But other people do. I don't have anything against her either. The conflict is over and her parents also passed away. I don't hate her either. But I know there are some people who still do, yeah.
Let me ask you this. If you hate Satoko, please raise your hand. I'm sure no one will. Yet you all still believe that interacting with her will make others speak ill of you. However, no one's going to. There's nobody like that!
No, that can't be true. There's one person at least.
Then tell me who it is. Tell me who told you directly that they hate Satoko.
The room fell silent again. It had become obvious that they were all avoiding Satoko because of a huge misunderstanding. The Child Consultation Center won't do anything, no matter what we do. They're convinced that the town council is on their side. We won't be able to fight until the council makes it clear that they're not supporting them.
Miyoshi, By any chance, do you need approval from someone?
Ouch. You're right on the money with that one.
The mayor forced out a smile. I had no idea what Rika-chan was talking about, but she must have hit the nail on the head. Who could it be, though? Who was that someone? If I could persuade them, the village would end up supporting us.
Are you talking about my hag of a grandmother?
The Kimiyoshi family has forgiven the Hojo family. The Furude family has done the same, right?
Meep. I'm one of the leaders of the three families, too.
Hinamizawa has 3 powerful families who make all decisions for the village. That's been a tradition since the time of Onigafuchi village. It's kind of an old tradition, but this was a road we couldn't avoid. So all we need is approval from the Sonozaki family. I've heard that they have the most power among the 3. Everyone knew that, but it was taboo to speak it. Something only I could say, since I didn't have the ties they did.
If we can persuade Michan's grandmother, will the town council support us?
What do you think, Mion-chan? I don't want to fight with Granny. But if she's standing between Satoko and safety, I'll have to. I won't be fighting as the next head of the family. I'll be fighting as Satoko's friend. Kimiyoshi-san, please promise. If we persuade Mion's grandmother, will we have the council's support?
Of course. No one would complain if it was the decision of the 3 families.
Let me get this straight. You're all refusing to help because you're afraid of Mion's grandmother, right? You're all grown adults. Good grief.
That's what you say. But isn't Oreo-san terrifying?
That's not true. I know Michan's grandmother very well. Sure, she has a scary side, but she's not that bad. Keiichi-kun is scarier than her when he's angry.
Yeah, and Rena is even scarier than me. Alright, I'm going to persuade Mion's grandmother. Support us when we succeed. Actually, don't just quietly support us either. I'm expecting you guys to take action too.
What do you mean by that?
We want the Onigafuchi Guardians to reunite. Are you going to let us kids do all the protesting? How old is Irie? Like, he's gotta be edging on 30 at least, right?
You want us to protest too? We can't do that. We should do that! We're going to tell those officials that we're going to fight against them! We need to do everything we can!
If we're going to support Keiichi-kun on behalf of the whole village, we need to make things clear to them. We have to support these kids if we're going to be on their side. Once we decide to do that, it's no longer just Mayabara-kun's fight. It'll be the village's fight too. In that case, you should be our leader, Kimiyoshi-san! There's no way the mayor shouldn't participate in the protest.
Alright, I got it already. If Oreo-san gives us her approval, I'll act like a man. I'll help Keiichi-kun. Does everyone here agree? Aye!
But you're not going to help him persuade Oreo-san?
Fine. I'll come with him to persuade Oreo-san. The way he talks might be too immature for her. She needs someone who can talk like an old person.
I'm sorry for being so disrespectful today. I really have to apologize, everyone.
Don't worry! You said some good things! You broke up the collusion in one fell stroke! Your refusal to cave under pressure is the very pride of Hinamizawa itself. I'm sorry for hitting you. I got pretty riled up.
No, that was my fault.
You did a good job too, Chie-sensei. You're a wonderful teacher.
I really didn't know that some people were still bitter toward the Hojo family.
Probably.
Oreo-san is the most bitter of anybody. However, according to Mion, Oreo-san doesn't hate the Hojo family either. Really, the whole thing was ridiculous. Good for you, Mayabara-san. I never thought you'd get the town council on your side. No, I don't have them on my side just yet. I need to persuade Mion's grandmother first. Oreo-san is like a dictator around here, but she won't do anything that would make her lose the trust of the villagers. If you've already settled things with the town council,
then it'll be hard for the Sonozakis to oppose you alone. You're such a great negotiator. You insulted them at the start, but then you gradually buttered them up.
I did it the way my dad writes articles for his art magazine. That's the same style he uses.
Oh, your father set a good example for you, huh? He's an artist, isn't he? I'd love to see his work someday. Well,
my dad doesn't even want me to see his work. I guess he can't show it to him either. What kind of dirty pictures is he drawing?
well then, let's go and see Oreo-san tomorrow night. We can't go right away. Once she gets into a bad mood, she'll never listen to us. I'll be coming along too. Who else is going?
I'm coming too. Renaissance also coming. She said she'd cleave her head apart if she doesn't nod it for us. I'm not going to do that. Don't be mean, Chi-chan. I'm going to, Keiichi. I'll talk to Oreo myself.
I see. Give her a piece of your mind. Of course, I plan to myself as well.
I'll try and be there too. I might be able to help just by being around. This sure is getting interesting. Are you ready to defeat that evil hag, sis?
To be honest, I wish you'd swap with me tomorrow.
Keiichi-kun, you've made great progress today.
Yeah. The more people we have on our side, the stronger we become. We can save Satoko if the whole village gets together. This village once won against the national government, after all. The old people seem proud to hear me talk about the dam conflict. Everyone started talking about all the heroic things they did back then. Remember when I did a backflip and kicked that cop in the head? It was very cool. Yeah, that was very cool, dude. Ha ha ha, I'm glad we're friends. Wholesome old people revolutionaries, let's go.
I thought we could never save Satoko.
Oh wait, wrong voice.
I thought we could never save Satoko. That fate is reaching its end. The power we have right now is overwhelming. The power to defeat fate is far stronger than the mere chance alignment of a few coincidences.
Dun dun dun. Well, that was fucking cool. I knew that was coming eventually, but yeah, it was very, very cool. I like that very much. Alrighty. Up the fuck. We're skipping right there? Shit. Okay. Well then, I guess we're going to end this episode here for now. This is the first time I actually made it to the end of a in-chapter or a part at more than an hour in like probably the last 10 episodes of the series, so that's cool. Awesome. I don't know how close we are to the end. I imagine we're relatively close. We're probably like at the 3/4 mark, maybe? Because I only know of like 3 more things that have to happen, at least, and obviously one of them is the discussion with Oreo, which seems like it'll happen literally next, so yeah. Either way, that's going to be it for this episode, guys. If you liked it, then be sure to press the like button, and if you didn't like it, then fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye! Yeah.